Tunnel vision in chess is one of the biggest causes for blunders, not just for beginners, not just for intermediate players, but for all levels. Actually, I'm going to show you a game of mine in just a minute here where I had tunnel vision and it cost me the game. First of all, big thank you to Michael for sending me this game. He's the one who asked this question on one of my polls, and a lot of you upvoted it saying you wanted some more information about this. So what am I talking about when I say tunnel vision? Tunnel vision is you're playing a game of chess and you come up with a plan in your mind like, I should do this. I should move my pieces here. I should attack the king this way. Or I should try to get a fork. I should go for whatever it is. You have a plan in your mind. It might be a short plan of like 1 or 2 moves. It might be a long plan of like, okay, the next 10 moves, I'm going to try to do this. Whatever it is, that's your plan. Tunnel vision is when you get so focused on that plan that you forget about other things and you miss obvious moves that you normally would probably see if you weren't already in that plan of like, this is my plan. I'm already committed. I've already made 2 moves. I got to keep going. Right? You miss the obvious moves. Okay. So let's take a look at an example here that Michael sent to me. He's playing this game. I'll actually just show you from the beginning real quick so you kind of get the context. We have a Sicilian, and the opening was nothing fancy. Both players are kind of developing good moves. Nothing really wild is happening. And he expands on the queen side. He brings the knight to a nice outpost in the center. I like it. Okay, we get a trade. And right here is where Michael gets the idea for a plan. And his plan was to go queen to c6, bishop to b7 to create a battery. And notice there's going to be a checkmate threat if this knight ever moves. And then he was going to play f5 to chase the knight away. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. Is that a good plan? Yes or no? Is that a good plan? Well, if you had a chance to look at that, I would say yes. I think it's an absolutely great plan. This is an open diagonal. He can very easily put his queen and bishop there. Those are good squares for those pieces anyway. And then if white doesn't deal with it, chases the knight away and gets checkmate. I think that's a great plan. And if the knight doesn't move, he just takes the knight, right? So absolutely fine. So he plays queen c6. And now his opponent plays the move queen to g4. Now, Michael quickly looked at, he wasn't about to get checkmated, or that there wasn't some tactic with the knight coming in, and he said, nope, I don't see it. And he plays bishop to b7. Now, I have a question for you guys. What is the problem with the move bishop to b7 in this position? Well, if you had a chance to look at that, bishop b7 in and of itself is not a bad move. The problem with it is that he missed a tactic. And the tactic, actually, if you like to pause, what's the tactic? You got a chance to look at that. The move is f5. There is just an immediate fork here to win a piece. This is the best move in the position because it's a forcing tactic that wins a piece. There's no way that white can save the knight. You have to move the queen. We take the knight. Okay, but Michael was focused on his plan. He had tunnel vision, right? And he didn't see the fork. So how do you solve this problem? I'm going to tell you the secret, okay? This is what all grandmasters and really strong players do. Every time you're playing a game of chess, there's nothing wrong with making plans. That's good. You should have a plan. But every single time your opponent moves, you need to ask yourself one question. You need to ask yourself the question, should I continue my plan or do I have a better move because of something that changed in the position? Should I continue my plan or do I have a better move because something changed in the position? And a lot of the times, if you ask yourself the question, you'll start to notice these kind of moves. See, it's like a light switch. You flip it on, you flip it off. You're always got to be flipping back and forth between, let me check if there are any immediate tactics that popped up because of the last move. If not, okay, let's flip the switch. We'll go back to my plan and continue. Constantly back and forth, back and forth. If you're not doing that, you're going to do exactly like what Michael did here, and you're going to miss the move, right? So I hope that makes sense. So he played here. He didn't see it. And luckily for him, he did eventually, white didn't move anything, and eventually he got it, and I think he went on to win this game. So that's just an example. I'm going to show you another one that was a game that I played where I also had tunnel vision. All right, so here's the game. Peter Potzer, you can see this is the account that I used for the rating climb. If you haven't been watching that, I highly recommend go back and watch. There's a playlist for it. I started at 200. We're working our way up to at least 2,000, maybe 2,200. But if you watch that, you'll remember this game. But let's go ahead and take a look. We started off with gambiting a pawn, trying to get some quick development here. And a few mistakes here, but fine. All right, right here. So I decided I'm going to sacrifice the knight to get 2 pawns and open up black's king. And my plan at this point was to attack the king. I want to find a way to go and checkmate this guy, or at least win back some material or find a nice tactic or something. So I said, okay, how can I do that? Queen to f3 I thought was the most direct way to put pressure on the pinned knight. Okay, black defends. And again, at this moment in the game, I was totally zoned in on one thing and one thing only. I was thinking about my plan of attacking the opponent's king at all costs. How do I attack it as quickly as I can? Because I don't want to give him time to develop all his pieces and, trade off and go into an endgame where he's up a piece. So what did I do? I played this move. Didn't even stop to think, could my opponent have a tactic if I go there? Could there be a tactic? Could there be a Didn't even cross my mind. Why? Because I had tunnel vision on my plan. I'm going to go checkmate the king. That's all I'm going to do. And sure enough, bam, my opponent hits me with this one. And it's over. It's such a powerful move because it not only does it win a piece, the other thing it does is it forces a queen trade unless I'm willing to just lose a piece, right? So I had to go for the queen trade, but then I'm already down a piece, and now black is just totally there's no more attack. I'm not going to checkmate the king now. I have no pieces left. The queens are gone, right? And it all happened because I didn't flip that switch back and forth for just a second there, right? Right here, I had to say, okay, hold on, let me just check real quick. Are there any tactics? Let's see. Ooh, that's a nice move. I would have seen that. I just didn't even think about it. Tunnel vision, okay? Last game I want to show you is an example of what you should do, all right? So let's take a look at one more example. All right, here we go. This is also a game from the same rating climb. We had a French defense. All right, let's get past the opening. Developing, castling, the knight comes here. I decided to try to attack on the king side here with h4, and my opponent played h5 to stop it, but then I had the option to trade here. Now, as soon as I saw this, I said, okay, pawn structure's messed up. The king is now more exposed. My plan is going to be to attack over here. I'm probably going to think about bringing my knight in. I'm going to think about how can I get my queen to attack this pawn. I can't go there immediately, but I want to figure out a way to do that very quickly. Maybe it's move the bishop out and bring the queen over. Maybe it's bring the knight here and bring the queen here and try to come in this way. Somehow, I'm going to attack over here. That was my plan, okay? So I played a3, trying to get ready to chase the knight away because I want to put my queen here, like I said. So I thought that was maybe a good move to do it. Now, initially, it doesn't actually threaten the knight because my rook is pinned, but I was setting up so that after I move my bishop, I would be able to, and then follow up with my plan, okay? Opponent plays bishop here. Now, thankfully, in the game, I did stop and I flipped that switch that I was talking about. I'm like, okay, hold on a second. I know my plan is to attack over here, but wait a second. Is there any tactics here after this move? Is this a good or bad move? And I actually spotted a tactic. So for those of you who didn't watch the rating climb, if you would like to pause, what do you think I played in this position? If you had a chance to look at that, the move is knight takes b5, and it's a great move because the queen can't take. The queen is needed to pin the pawn. Otherwise, I'm simply going to take the knight. You see that? The queen has to stay there and control this, okay? Which means black has to take this way. But now I have a follow-up move, bishop to d2, which does two things. Number one, it pins the knight from moving away, but it also attacks the knight with the pawn because now this is defended. See, before I couldn't do this, right? Because I would lose my rook. But now it's defended 2 times. I'm totally safe, and black has a problem. They're losing a piece. The only reason I saw this is because I did not have tunnel vision on my plan over here, right? Because I could have very easily said, all right, whatever, I don't really know what he's doing. Let me continue with developing and getting ready to bring my queen over here. The game would have went on, but that's not nearly as good of a move. Actually, I might be in trouble here now because, black's going to jump in and block off this, and now the knight is attacking stuff, right? So it's very, very important to always flip that switch back and forth, back and forth. Emanuel Lasker, one of the greatest chess players of all time, he was the world champion for 27 years in a row, has a famous saying. He said, when you see a good move, look for a better move. That's what I'm going to leave you guys with today. Don't forget, flip that switch back and forth. Don't get tunnel vision, although plans are a good thing. You have to stop and check for those tactics. Stay sharp, guys. Play smart and take care.